joined for the first time by Fiji, who are playing their first international competition since 2015. We'll have live coverage of every match this weekend across both social media and BBC Sport. So, wherever you are in the world, welcome to this wonderful weekend of netball. We hope you enjoy the event over these next 2 days, and remember, join our netball conversation on Twitter using our hashtag NetballEuropeOpen. I'm Lynn Carpenter with you for this first game here on day 3 of the Open, with our visitors Fiji taking on Northern Ireland. I'm delighted to be joined in commentary by Natalie Pepperell, head coach of Wales under-21. Natalie, welcome.
Thank you.
So Nats, this is our 6th game of the Open, 3rd time on court today, both for Fiji and Northern Ireland, with the latter having played their last game finishing around about 9:20 last night. So limited recovery time for them after a really tough game against England. What would you expect we're going to be seeing in this game this morning?
I think it's going to be a really good game between these two teams. We've seen from Fiji that they've grown throughout this tournament. Every game there's learning, every game they're progressing, and some really exciting play coming out of them. Northern Ireland obviously had that first early win against Wales, which put them in really good stead with some really good play. Yesterday, tough game for them against England, but you know, anyone who faces England is finding it tough, so all credit to them for grinding it out, but it does have an impact, a late finish and an early start. You know, there will be tired legs, and it'll be interesting to see how the coach Elaine Rice copes with that and what she does with the squad to make sure she keeps them fresh on court today.
And of course we've seen Fiji here back in international competition, a real focus through their coach Vicky Wilson, who will be known worldwide to netball fans, about getting them prepared for the Commonwealth Games. They've kind of grown in stature in the 2 games we've seen. They've played the Army before they got here. They're having some friendly games against England afterwards. What about their style of play? Slightly different to what we normally see in the region.
Yeah, it is slightly different. Although they have developed more of an Aussie style, I think, which you know, it's going to happen, isn't it, if your coach is an Australian coach? But they're a lot more physical on court, I'd say. Not physical as in contacty. They're actually just a physical team. Very good in the air, very aerial, lots of long balls, and some really good hunting players in there. So yeah, slightly different style, but really good for the other teams as well to be playing against a different style rather than, you know, just the home nations. It's fantastic.
And of course, as we just mentioned, Vicky Wilson, their coach, has been with them for 12 months. They've just come out of Botswana, like many of our under-21 countries around the world, finished 4th, which was a really good result for them. So they're clearly building back into international competition. Interesting combination of players, the Rusifakala family, 2 sisters and an aunt. Many of the players play multiple sports, so we have 2 who also play rugby sevens, 1 who went to Rio. We were chatting earlier, how do some countries enable themselves to play multiple sports at an international level when we don't quite see that quite as much here in the UK?
Yeah, I think in the UK we tend to try and get athletes to really focus on the sport we want them to do, so we have a massive load of training early on. You know what, I'm no judge on saying what's right and what's wrong, but it's interesting that other nations really seem to encourage that multi-sport approach. I think as far as game sense is concerned and actually your decision making in the game, having a variety of different sports can really help that. Does it have an impact on the physical and actually the tactical specific netball knowledge? You know, maybe it does. I think it's still out for debate.
Well, I hope those of you who are tuning in this morning are getting ready to watch what we believe is going to be a really exciting game. All the teams here playing this weekend are ranked above 12 in the world, so we are literally seeing some of the best teams in the world competing. Let's have a quick look now at the starting 7 for both teams. So first let me introduce you to Fiji. In it goes shooter Afa Rusivakala, her sister Maliana Rusivakala in at goal attack, Thurukazava at wing attack, their centre and their captain Wangantambu. In at wing defence for Fiji we see Wangan Mboti, goal defence Davavu, and their goalkeeper, really interesting player, Episaki Kahatoko. Their coach, as we mentioned, is Vicky Wilson. So good luck to them. And now let me introduce you to Northern Ireland. Goal shooter Lisa Bowman. Her sister, Kyla Bowman, in at goal attack. It's kind of a family affair this morning. Wing attack, Michelle Drain. Centre and their captain, Caroline O'Hanlon. Wing defence, Finola Toner. Nolene Lennon back at the defending end, this time at goal defence, and Gemma Lawler, goalkeeper. Their coach is Elaine Rice, and the players will be led on court by the umpires for today, Sarah Watts and Nigel Lim. So, or as it is, changed, James Thomas, I am sorry. James will be very disappointed with me. So as we get off to a start here, Fiji take the first centre pass.
Yeah, already seeing really nice penetration by Fiji. That's one of the things that they were missing earlier on in their first game, and they were developing it throughout the game yesterday, and straight away down to the circle and a shooting opportunity.
So Northern Ireland struggled in some of the quarters yesterday to get their first centre pass off.
Yeah, an early error there. Pressure will be on Northern Ireland actually, especially like we said after the game yesterday. It's always hard to come off into a game after a hard defeat. So just need to settle the nerves early on.
So in the shooting end for Fiji, we see the two Risikolava sisters, Afa and Maliana.
Great shot. Some really good quick hands there from the goal shooter. I think just needs to make sure that her sister's on the same page. This is the speed that was really impressive yesterday by Fiji. Ireland doing a good job of trying to keep them off the circle edge, just to prevent those fast hands. The coaches have had the opportunity of seeing both teams yesterday and the day before, and so they will have done their homework and will have a game plan to try and counteract them.
So good lean by Lennon, but unable to stop the ball going in. 3-0 to Fiji in these early stages of this very first quarter, the first game on the third day.
Good shot there by Lisa. It's good that it's really important that she converted that. It just shows that one missed centre pass, one error, and you're all of a sudden you're 3 goals down.
So Fiji bring the ball down to their captain, Wangantambu.
Great feed there. It's an unusual miss. We haven't seen much of the Fijians missing. Yesterday in the first half of their game they were sat on 100%.
So Hanlon finding Bowman on the baseline drive. Not very athletic, committed defence.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the exciting things about Fiji. They were going on everything, and it's just the timing was out in the first couple of days. If they tweak their timing and their timing's on, they're going to be very hard to beat.
And their centre, Wangantambu, who you can see on court, who is also their captain, is one of the players who've played rugby sevens.
That's why she's so fit.
Good pressure there by Northern Ireland to win the ball back.
It's nice structure in the circle, just getting one in front, one behind, trying to create that space. Northern Ireland just not seeming comfortable at the moment to put that shot up from mid-distance. Just trying to work it close to under the post.
It's quite a lot of pressure by the Fijian defenders in there, Davavu.
Yeah,
and Kahatoko.
Yeah, and we saw yesterday that if it didn't go in, Kahatoko was on most of the rebounds. So again, that might have been a strategy that they've looked at. They need to play it close to post because they're probably not going to get too many second chances if it doesn't go in first time.
Good pressure there by Hanlon.
A good switch there in the circle by the Irish defence.
Keeping them out, putting a lot of pressure on. Another miss, but a very good rebound by the young Rosiva Kalala. She's only 19.
Ooh, just a bit hesitant on that pass. Fijians doing a good job of just putting a bit of hesitation in the mind of the Irish at the moment.
We've seen in the 2 games before, Kautoko really dominating defensively for Fiji.
Yeah, 3 seconds. So great defence there by Kahatoku. She jumped straight up for the first 2, just putting that pressure on Lisa Bowman, and then the last one was the jump in and causing the 3 seconds.
The Dabavu with the long ball, but didn't quite reach there. A little bit of misunderstanding.
Yeah, good cover by the Northern Irish defence. You just saw them coming out the circle there to cover that first option and force the long lifted ball, which then allows your defence to run on it.
You see Fiji not quite playing man-to-man, but not quite playing off-ball, really kind of causing some hesitation by Northern Ireland attack.
Yeah, and we've seen that other teams that play them. Once, if you're confident, you send the ball and you're happy to send it strong, fast, and into that space for your player to drive on, then it works against this style of defence. But if it makes you nervous and you stop sending that ball, that's when the Fijians can then drive on the interceptions.
Oh, great play there by Tono, reading the ball really well. Turnover for Northern Ireland as Lawler brings the ball out.
You can see that O'Hanlon at the moment is sitting quite wide through the mid-court, I think, because the Fijians are sitting in that middle space. She's just sitting out wide to open up the court, send the ball out, and then it really breaks down that zone for them. That's clever play.
And we saw the umpire there just warning Fijian wing defence for offside. Lisa Bowman with a long shot.
Yeah, it's nice to see her putting that up. There was a lot of passes before, they weren't necessarily getting to where they wanted to be, so good option to just put it up and put it in. We know she can shoot.
And that successful shot takes Northern Ireland to just 1 behind Fiji in these early stages, 5-4 at the moment. There we go, back to level pegging. Halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah, Northern Ireland just taking a bit more control now, a bit more patience. Shaking off the cobwebs at the beginning.
And of course at this level, whilst Northern Ireland finished late last night and are on this morning, the schedule's been set for some time, so the preparation, the coach and the SE team, etc., will have really hoped to help prepare Northern Ireland for this moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the planning is down to the last minute, you know, of recovery protocols and nutrition protocols, and they'll have done training as well to make sure that they are used to having training late at night and then early again in the morning. So it will have all been in place to make sure that it had the least impact possible.
So we've got a very tight game here, halfway through the first quarter, 6 goals all.
Oh,
and Risivakola sinks a very long one.
When they play with speed, they are so exciting.
It's good patience by Northern Ireland there against a really committed defence. Davuvu.
Well followed up there by Lisa.
And there we go, interestingly we see the lift by the Fijian defence again.
Yeah, a number of different styles they used yesterday. We had the lift, we had the double jump, we had the single jump, we had the arms over. They've just got so many tricks up their sleeve to really try and put these shooters off. Great drive there by Bowman to the post. That's what they need to do more of if they want to get the ball close to the post. Instead of them both sitting in there, just have that one holder, one driver, create
one
some
bit
speed
more rotation. Yeah. And it's making a difference now for Northern Ireland. They've settled into the game well. They've taken a slight lead, 8-7.
Again, just coming out, she's creating that space in there for her sister. You were saying before about the Fijians just sitting off that space. Well, if we try and commit them by running through it, then it makes them less effective in that.
So Kyla Bowman scores that goal for Northern Ireland. Fijian centre pass. 2 goals the difference at this moment in time.
Nice strong defence there by Ireland. One thing Ireland are doing really well is getting those arms over the ball. especially in the mid-third, just trying to hold Fiji up, and that's probably from the homework they've done as well.
They're making Fiji work for every ball, pressure on every pass.
Yeah, that was a great pass by Thurkasuva to get that ball through, like threading the eye of a needle. Clever play there again by Bowman, just playing the ball out, wasn't comfortable with the jump over the shot.
And taking her step across to prevent the defender getting the rebound. We don't always see shooters doing that, but I think Lisa's a very experienced goal shooter.
Yeah, there is some real experience in this Northern Irish side.
So.
It's a beautiful rotation and another great shot. They're very dangerous once they've got the ball in that shooting circle.
It's great play by the two Bowman sisters. Good understanding, better positioning again by Lisa, really working in front of the defender. 11-9 to Northern Ireland, just under 5 to go in this first quarter here in Cardiff on a lovely Saturday morning. Every Saturday morning's good when netball's on TV.
Absolutely. Good shot. They just need to make sure they look after their centre passes now to keep that lead.
Oh, ooh. Well, Hanlon and Wangatambu very competitive on court there. Both up, both okay.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of bodies on the line for the sport this weekend, which is great to see. You know, that's how much it means to them.
Oh, there you go. Brilliantly read by Lawler at the back there. Great interception.
Yeah, that was a great fly. Beautifully timed.
Davuvu connecting in the wrong way into Kyla Bowman. So a very close competitive game, as you'd expect from these two teams, where they are ranked in the world at this moment in time.
Just seen a bit more of off-marking by Northern Ireland now in the middle third, sitting in more of a 5-die shape, trying to force those lifted balls for them to run on. Just wonder whether that'll have an impact on Fiji as we move through the game.
That was a really quick, good centre pass by Hanlon. She didn't even wait for the Fijian centre to get back before she was off. The umpire's playing to the speed of the game, which is, I'm sure, appreciated.
Yeah, I think we've seen both her and Kyra Jones for Wales both do that. They run in and they run through that centre pass, and their wing attack and goal attack obviously know that that's coming, and their timing is really good. Great defence there by Tona, running hard on it.
She came on well yesterday against England, had a really good, impactful game last night.
You just see Northern Ireland keeping them off the edge.
Really competitive in that circle. Lennon doing a lot of talking at the back into a defended quartet there. 13-12 with just 2 minutes to go in the first game.
See again another potential fly there from Devavu at the back. Just a little bit off on timing, but those are the ones that are coming. They're going to be so dangerous.
Really well read by Carolina Hanlon there at centre.
Long ball, yes, well done Northern Ireland. They'd worked for that. They'd worked for that long ball so hard as well.
They're just tempting Fiji to do it. They did.
Yeah.
And the umpire deciding that there was footwork.
I think it was a bit of a drag of the feet.
I think Tona was probably more disappointed in herself doing that rather than anything else.
And that right there is why Northern Ireland have been trying to keep them off the edge. The quick hands of Fiji really worked that ball close to post so quick.
And having that Northern Ireland turnover now takes us to a game with 13 goals each. Just over a minute on the clock.
great. Another great pressure there by Toner, and that's what you want from your wing defence when it's getting really tight, when the pressure's on, just to come out with that turnover. And the same the other end. Oh, unlucky there by Kahatoki. I thought she did really well. And a layup! Oh. We love a cheeky layup.
Anything Fiji can do, Northern Ireland can do too.
Yeah.
Really critical goal that was as well.
Oh, great structure. Just unfortunate they couldn't keep their hands on that.
Yeah, Bowman just indicating wanted it a little bit flatter.
Yeah, they created that middle space so well as well.
Drain put a huge amount of pressure on there, won the ball back for Northern Ireland.
And there's the jump.
In terms of coaching, it's great to see that kind of mixture of pressure on the shooters so that the shooter's never quite sure, and it just puts that sort of slight second of doubt potentially in their minds.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Wow, what a fantastic start to the netball here in Cardiff on day 3 of the Open Championships. Fiji go into quarter time on 13, Northern Ireland 15, so 2 ahead, but all to play for in this game. It's almost too close to call at this stage, Natalie.
Yeah, I don't think I can call it. It's, you know, it's the same as we've seen on a number of occasions. It's back and forth. One takes the lead, the other takes the lead. And it's almost who can keep that composure, who can keep that control and make sure they look after the ball when they get it and take it to goal.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out over the whole hour. We know Fiji haven't played at this level for a long time, a couple of years. We talked to Vicky Wilson, the whole kind of concept around introducing fitness training, strength training, etc. is not something the team's been doing that much recently. So will they have that kind of physical ability to keep going for a whole hour? You kind of wonder that, and we'll see how that plays out. Northern Ireland have got some hugely experienced players now at this level. They've been here before. They played that fantastic game on Thursday night against Wales where they closed the game out with just 1 goal in it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Lisa Bowman in particular did a really good job against Wales. She managed to sit on the defence really well and managed to get a lot of front ball, which gave them some more easy shots. I think they're finding it a bit trickier today because the defence for Fiji, as we've said already, are more off marking, so they're keeping their feet off, they're keeping moving, and that in itself is creating a lot of pressure in there. So I think the difference there is quite important to how Ireland are settling. I think the centre battle at the moment between Wangatambu and O'Hanlon is fantastic. You know, they're both running hard. The wing defence for Northern Ireland as well. Tona has impressed me massively. She's coming out with turnover at the back. The pressure that they're putting on in terms of trying to create that long diagonal ball from Fiji is really good. It'll be interesting now to see whether the two teams counteract. The coaches go back out and look at those things and whether they can come and tweak their game plan slightly. So for Fiji, for instance, I'd like to see them driving onto the ball more rather than forcing those long overheads that Ireland are now starting to create and starting to pick off. Yeah, I mean, it could be anyone's ball game. It's an exciting one. It
was interesting. I was chatting to Una McCullough, who's on the bench at the moment, but played yesterday in that really tough game against England. And she was saying that when they watched the video back, they could see all the great things they're doing. They just want to get to that point where that consistency is across all 4 quarters for the whole 60 minutes of the game. And, you know, they might reflect on this game. Those first few minutes, they didn't quite come out probably as well as they wanted to, but they've grown in this quarter and playing some really impressive netball, as you're saying, forcing the long balls from Fiji, who think that's what the option is, but actually those back 4 players for Northern Ireland are all over it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, I think if anyone finds the magic recipe for consistency as a coach, then they've got to share it. They'll make millions, because ultimately that's what everyone's striving for, you know. I mean, we saw yesterday when Fiji started, they went massively down and then just fought the rest of the time. And if I'm honest, coming into this game, I thought maybe that it would be Northern Ireland that would take that first 5 or 6 goals, and that it would then be Fiji fighting back, and we've actually seen the reverse. So it just goes to show that anything can happen, really.
Well, if any of you are out there and are sofa coaches, like many of us are, and think you have the answer to that consistency question, then send us your thoughts. Hashtag NEOpen. We'd love to hear from you and share your thoughts on the match this morning. Very close, as we know. The team's now coming out for the second quarter. James Thomas bringing the ball out to Northern Ireland. 15-13 they lead as play gets underway. So we can see no changes from Northern Ireland in attack. Great ball from Drain, finding Bowman under the post.
Yeah, really good feed. Drain's another one with, you know, lots of experience. She's a Mavericks player, played in the Super League. See, oh, great drive there. Fantastic.
Lennon was putting pressure on there.
Yeah, and that's the handling errors in the pass. Just overcooked passes sometimes are the errors that we see creeping in for Fiji. It's great when they move the ball quickly, but they've just got to make sure they keep it controlled when they're moving it quickly as well.
And Russivokola keeps that gap just to 2.
Oh, just wanted Lisa Bowman there to either hold for a little bit longer or just to put a little bit more pace in it. That's the wind.
Yeah. Let's hope Caroline is okay. She's back on her feet. I think that was... She went down quite hard there.
Yeah, that just proves that us netball players are rough and tough. We'll go for anything, we'll get back up. Good job. I always find it helpful that we can wipe the floor on those occasions. It'll give her a little minutes to breathe, because obviously if she called in injury time she would have to come off, and I'm sure no one in the Northern Irish team would want her off at the moment, seeing how she's playing.
Oh, she's very influential there in the centre. Northern Ireland 17-14, so gap at 3. That was really good. If you watch Hanlon on the court there, she's constantly putting pressure and tracking the options for Fiji to narrow it down and forcing that long ball, which is exactly what Northern Ireland are working for.
Yeah, and like you say, it's a lot of the work off the ball that sometimes you miss. The player gets the intercept, but it's the hard work from all the players on the team that are creating it.
It's an unfortunate forced error off the court, which gives Fiji an opportunity. A couple of new players on there for them, wing defence and goalkeeper.
That's good space there by Thurikasuva at wing attack. You can see they were having a bit of trouble getting through that Irish zone, and that's exactly what they need to do. They just need somebody out, like Caroline O'Hillan was doing for Ireland at the beginning. Just need someone out on the wing just to open it up, or punch through the middle. It's great movement at the feet by the Irish defence.
It's interesting. Lennon again is having a really good game in the back for Northern Ireland. In fact, in the game yesterday against England, she was substituted up to go shooter.
Yeah, multi-talented. That's another talking point entirely, isn't it? At what point in time do you specialise in positions?
And the psychology behind going from a defender to an attacker, it was in the last quarter. She hadn't clearly been putting the ball up at all during any of that time, as it probably wasn't particularly planned substitution. Oh, great shot by Kyla Bowman. Keeps the pressure on Fiji to pull their centre pass.
There's a nice draw again by the wing attack. Thurikasuva on that centre pass, just opening up the goal attack. Russivokola coming through.
See how Northern Ireland are keeping the Fijians away from that centre edge.
Yeah, and again, like I say, the homework that's done on that is impressive, because they were using that so well in the first couple of games.
And there you go, Hanlon sprints back to the centre pass.
unlucky. That was well reached there by Lisa Bowman, just running on that ball. Just couldn't quite keep it in. And again, great pressure by the Irish defence.
Just want to say good morning to Jeff Wilson, chairman of Northern Ireland. I see you're on Twitter this morning. I hope you're watching the game, Jeff. Your team are doing really well so far this game. 18-16.
Another turnover by Toner there at the back. Again, all the work that's done out in front to cause that long diagonal pass.
It's interesting. Nothing particularly flashy about that particular movement there by Northern Ireland. And when we listened to Tracy Neville at half-time yesterday, she was saying the same, that sometimes the best teams in the world don't have outstanding flair. They don't do anything flashy. They just do the basics really, really well.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that so much. It's, you know, you can throw out all the technical stuff, tactical stuff in the world, the tactical stuff in the world that you want, but ultimately you've got to be able to pass and catch to, you know, within an inch worth of accuracy, and if you can do that, then you can create a lot.
A bit of a misunderstanding there between Drainen and Hanlon, which is quite unusual. They've been pretty consistent with the centre passes this game.
Yeah.
So Fiji bring the ball out through their centre. And again, their captain, rugby sevens expert as well.
That's better by Rusif Kula on that zone, just punching through the middle. Opened up the space nicely and then really well worked to post.
The umpire just clarifying his decision there. And Rusif Kula not making any mistakes. 19-18. Again, halfway through this second quarter.
It's just ebbing and flowing. Good defence there. I think Caroline O'Hanlon felt the force of the Fijian coming through, but she's back up.
And again, Toner had an impact there by turning that ball over. She's having a really good game.
She is having a great game. She's really impressed me today, actually. Just her vision, running on the ball, and great patience there as well by Northern Ireland. You know, they could have thrown that in on a women of prayer a couple of times, hoping on a 2-on-1, but just working it around and waiting for that space to open up.
And sometimes when you've got that pressure on you at every single ball, you get tempted to try and speed up the flow of play, but Northern Ireland resisted that and they kept playing to their own game plan.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. Their pressure is there. Once it's been passed a few times, you can almost hear your coach in your head saying, take it to goal. It's
a really interesting comment, because I remember from my days playing, you didn't really hear anything when you're on the court, even though you're in venues like this, there's big crowds and everything, you're aware of people watching potentially on TV. But you don't really hear it. It's like walking down into a tube when you come on the court. It's the way I used to describe it. So 3-goal gap at the moment. Northern Ireland just creeping slightly ahead.
Oh, they weren't impressed with that call.
See that almost full court pressure across the court now by Northern Ireland, just tempting the ball, tempting the Fijians to put it up.
Yeah, and if it can go over for the Fijians and it's a long straight one, then generally it's working, but they're just doing so much hard work. The mid-court for Northern Ireland, so much hard work.
And you've got to give them credit, Northern Ireland, for putting the Fijians under so much pressure that when it gets to the shot, there's just that little bit of hesitation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the umpire is just advising the wing defence about going offside too much.
And we have had a change at the back for Fiji. Kahatoka is now on the bench.
It's great to know we have our new member country, United Arab Emirates, tuning in today. Deb Jones, who some of the England fans will know of old days, is saying her cat's even getting in on the act and chasing the red button on the TV. So Deb, you should be watching the netball, not the cat at this stage.
Yeah, it's too close to be watching your cat.
Again, good turnover by Fiji.
There's a contact call. It's footwork contact.
I'm not sure, because I think the umpire perhaps indicated one way and then the other. It's forcing the long ball in. Northern Ireland been really good at not being tempted by that in these last few attacks. Just put a bit of aerial height on it.
Yeah, and it's like we talked about, that pressure. If the ball's been ping-ponging back and forth, sometimes it can be just that frustration of wanting to just get it to goal. A good little fake pass over the head there to draw the defence.
Mr. Vakala taking every inch of the step she's allowed to the post.
Absolutely, why not? Oh, good pressure again there by the defence. Tona just getting a bit frustrated on that.
Northern Ireland have really, over the last few years, gone from strength to strength, not only on their court play, their strategy, but also their physicality in terms of the strength of their play, their physical fitness on the court. You can really see how well that Northern Ireland have improved.
Yeah, we talk about development and the opportunities that different countries have got, and I was talking to Geraldine on the first day about having Scottish Sirens, and obviously Wales have Celtic Dragons in the Super League, and it's quite impressive because Northern Ireland don't have that, but they are still pushing up with the same intensity. And I know there's players that play in the Super League, but it's very impressive to see, and that's dedication and hard work by all the Northern Irish team behind the game.
And I think we've appreciated over the years how much that whole point about regular intense competition matters to players at international level. And I think we're waiting to hear some of the announcements for all the Super League teams this year, and I think Northern Ireland had one, and then another couple players got called into the Super League last year. Clearly that's probably something that they will be really focused on. How do they benefit as well as all the other teams and players in that competition?
Yeah, definitely. And this is the platform, isn't it? This is a great platform to be showing off their skill set. Good pressure there again by Northern Ireland. Just seeing a lot of the time that front player dropping off from the 3-foot mark, covering one option, then someone else coming through and covering another, and a fantastic fly by Caroline O'Hanlon. Lays it off nice and long to Lisa Bowman. Great shot.
So as a result of that, Northern Ireland creeping ahead now, 25 goals to 19. We've got just under 4 minutes to go into half-time.
Oh, there's a good battle going on there. A really good battle going on there between Wanganambeti and Drain.
Really quick hands by the Bowman sisters. The gap now 7.
Just want Fiji to take a little bit of control of this now and not let the game run away. It'd be a shame for them to let it run away in this quarter, and we've seen before from this Fijian side that they can go a number of goals down in a very quick short space of time and then hold the team goal for the rest of the game. So would like to see them creep back into the score a little bit now.
Great positioning by Nolene Lennon. Tona brings it down.
Oh!
I think the crowd had a view about that.
Yeah, I think we'll keep quiet for a minute.
If you can see on the camera, Vicky Wilson on the bench there, the coach of Fiji, really gearing her side up, understandably.
Yeah, she'll be wanting to come out with the win in this game, and they are still completely in it.
They've got a real blend of youth and more experienced players in Fiji. 35 down to 19, so a real age spread.
There's a chance for us yet, Lynn.
I think my chance went a long time ago, Natalie. I still think I'm 30, but my passport says something very different, unfortunately. Oh, brilliant.
Good swing, good run round the front there by Bowman. Again, just that doubt put in the mind by the defence of the Fijians jumping on that shot.
But we still have a 7-goal game here. 27 Northern Ireland lead, Fiji on 20.
Just running into her own player there. That could be an ankle.
Let's hope she's okay.
No, she's good. She's back up.
Picked up by Bowman.
Oh, good hold again. They do that really nicely, do the swing, and then the shooter holding that side.
John Bowman, they're making them work the front almost and not giving them the opportunity of the overhead, which Northern Ireland is saying, well, okay, that's where you want us to play, we'll do that, thank you very much.
Yeah, and again, I think that's quite clever from the defence, because they've been a bit nervous on the shot sometimes and not been willing to put it up sometimes too much from distance, and so that's quite clever play. If they're not going to put it up too much from distance, let's try and force them to shoot from there. And the Fijians know that they're good in the air, they know that they're good at the rebound, so if they keep them out and they miss, then they're going to come out with the ball. Just like that.
Oh, lots of competitive holding going on in the circle. Great space. Kyla Bowman taking full advantage of the double on her sister Lisa.
Yeah, and this is that run that we were talking about. They're now 9 goals out. And Fiji centre pass and another little error, and it's just those errors that they need to make sure that they cut out, because this is a vital centre pass now. 15 seconds to go in the second quarter, and this could now be leading them 10 goals down.
And there we go, 10-goal gap, almost half-time. Oh, very clever play by Hanlon on that one.
Yeah,
and we don't always see that at international level, the players being that aware of the actual timing, because she could have thrown her centre pass and that would have clearly not had enough time to convert. But held on to it. Going into half-time, 30 goals now, Northern Ireland to Fiji's 20. Very different quarter for the two teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Slightly disappointing, really, because I think I really wanted Fiji to stay within touching distance, because we know that they can go goal for goal, and it's just a couple of errors on centre passes. They were, credit to Northern Ireland, their defence in that game, in that quarter was really good. They were dropping off, covering every option. When they thought that one wasn't going, they were dropping off and covering another one, and it just put that doubt in Fiji's mind. And we've seen that when the Fijians get the doubt and they don't send that ball, then very often they end up sending a last-ditch diagonal offer, and that's the one that Ireland come out with. So, but it's not over yet. 10 goals in a netball game is actually not a lot. It's 5 turnovers in a game, as long as you're going to convert it. We've not seen Fiji come back from that yet, but they can do. There's no reason why not.
And we'll get the shooting stats in just a second for the second quarter. But if you look at the first quarter, interestingly, really accurate from Fiji again, 87%, 13 from 15. Northern Ireland, 15 from 20, but they're getting those opportunities on goal. And I think that almost was what was happening in this quarter. I think if we see the stats, it feels like that was a similar position in this second quarter. And that was down again to that whole court approach by Northern Ireland, stopping the Fijians actually getting the ball in the circle.
Yeah, absolutely. And the pressure came early as well. So even if the Northern Ireland shooters and the two Bowmans, if they missed and Fiji got the turnover, the pressure's coming nice and early from Northern Ireland. They're not waiting until it gets down. They're not letting Fiji have that quick run through the court. They're setting up nice and early, putting that pressure on nice and early. And you know what? That's the job of your mid-court, isn't it? If your shooters have a wobble, I'm not saying 75% is a wobble. It's not really. Let's face it. It's good shooting stats, but if your shooters are having a wobble, then actually it's your job to get the ball back and give them those opportunities and get it in there as much as possible. And like you say, it's showing that they are available. Lisa's been doing some really nice front holds now in that quarter. They're starting to use that speed. They brought the speed a bit more, I think, in that quarter as well, like driving into the circle, and that's really important that they can then get those opportunities.
And of course Fiji ran 2 defensive changes at wing defence and goal defence in that quarter. Didn't work for them as well as the first combination out. And it's interesting, we talk about shooting stats, and we used to always say, well, around about 80% is good, but in the world of international netball, almost anything below 90% is that lost opportunity, and any interception which leads to a goal down the other end is worth two points in effect, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes, stats are a tricky one, because it also depends whereabouts your shooters are shooting from. So if they're confident and putting them up from anywhere, but you're still coming out with the rebounds and then getting the shot off that, it's not necessarily too bad. But, I kind of agree with you. They probably want a little bit more in terms of their shooting accuracy. and I do think that they're trying to work it close to post, so I don't think that in this instance that's necessarily the case. It could be a little bit of pressure as well from the Fijian defence, though. Let's not take that away from them, that their style of defence in that circle is really good. The pressure they're putting on the ball, they're jumping it, they're marking it, they're double jumping it, and they're accurate on their jumps as well. You know, their timing is spot on, that straight up and down that they're doing on the first
Not getting
two.
pulled for 3 feet very often.
Oh, yeah, it's just phenomenal. And they've obviously worked on it because of the fact they're using a variety. And so that must actually be quite scary to shoot over. So we can't take that away from the Fijians. It's them creating that pressure as well.
And if we look down the other end, that kind of defensive quartet that Northern Ireland have got out there with Lawler and Lennon at the back, Toner playing really strongly at wing defence and turning a lot of ball over, and Hanlon in at centre having a great game. In terms of the tactics there, Fiji are struggling to get through that and to actually create opportunities at goal.
Yeah, and you know what, the coach Elaine Rice will have seen those games early on for Fiji, and she'll know that once Fiji start to stutter, once they start to have that pressure, bringing the ball through court, then invariably that's when their ball handling goes off, that's when their passes go a little bit awry, and that's when they start sending those long diagonals. So they will know that, and that's why they'll be creating that pressure. They'll also have seen that when Fiji get the ball to circle edge, their movement is very quick in that circle, and they're pinging it very quickly out and in. And so the mid-court job will be to keep them off that circle edge and prevent them hitting the circle edge, and that way it's just giving your defence more time to get their feet around to run on the ball. So yeah, really good pressure.
So I hope those of you who are tuning in from Fiji are enjoying the game. You're really welcome to be with us. We know you've been watching your team. We have got quite a lot of support from Fijian here actually in the stadium. I think some of them have travelled down from from Scotland. I'm really, really passionate about their netball. Keep your messages coming in. Remember to use our hashtag NEOpen. Really nice comment from Richard Morpeth. If you're listening, Richard, I know you're enjoying the netball despite really not knowing anything about it. Well, stay tuned for this weekend and you'll learn heaps, hopefully, over the game. And of course, we would all say that netball is the best game to be doing anything with this weekend completely. So 10-goal gap, changes potentially from the two coaches?
Well, if I was the Northern Ireland coach right now, I think I'd probably throw some coaches in, probably in my shooting end, just to, like we've talked about the stats, maybe just to see if we can get that a bit more comfortable. I think also you've got to bear in mind that they've still got another game after this. You know, there's more games of the tournament. You've got to rest maybe some players if they're getting a bit fatigued, and you do have a 10-goal gap at the moment, but it's tricky now, isn't it? It's that judgment, isn't it, as a coach, is do you change it at half time because that gives you a quarter to pull it back if the changes don't work. We've seen a lot of changes actually happening mid-third quarter in this tournament, which could be a strategy that most of them are applying. Me personally, I think I'd definitely rock out some changes now if I was Northern Ireland. For Fiji, I think I'm probably a bit biased because I've fallen in love with one of their players, but I definitely have Kahatoku back on the court. I'm not really sure why she came off. I think she was doing a great job at the back, but you know, it could be an injury or it could be a longer term plan that we don't know about, but me personally, I'd definitely have her back.
Well, it's interesting you say about longer term plan, because if you look at the schedule for today, Fiji, as we know, are playing twice today. They play England tonight at 6 o'clock, which of course will be going out live again on all our social media and through BBC Sport. Northern Ireland won't play again till tomorrow morning, so they do have a 24-hour recovery here. So Fiji are going to, whilst they're obviously in this game, they'll be wanting to concentrate on it. Vicky's mind will also be on what's the plan for this evening's match.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, strategy-wise, being 100% honest, if Fiji are facing England this afternoon, looking at the scores recently, I think I'd be targeting my best players and my strongest players now to try and come out with a win against Northern Ireland. Whereas Northern Ireland, they're going to want to put out a really good performance against Scotland tomorrow, because that could be, for them, depending on what happens today, it could be a silver medal match. We just don't know. And so for them, I'd probably be trying now, where possible, to rest my players.
And it's great that we've got that level of competition now in the region where it's impossible to say, who's going to be in almost gold, silver and bronze position in these championships. So, as you can see, the umpires are getting ready to start the game here in the third quarter. Score stands Northern Ireland on 30, Fiji on 20, and we'll try and bring you any changes throughout this quarter. So Toner with the ball.
We do have a change at the back. We have a new goal attack, which we'll confirm for you.
That's Una McCullough on there at goal attack. Came on yesterday strongly as well for Northern Ireland.
High air 5 to Elaine Rice. I completely agree with mixing that up. It's also good, you know, sometimes to mix up your attacking unit, because the defence for the opposition can get quite comfortable in what they're playing against. So sometimes it's not even a case of something not working or someone not playing well. It's just sometimes a change just makes it a bit fresh. It makes the opposition have to guess a bit more. And again, that's another long ball thrown in from Fiji, and they really need to make sure that they work it to the edge, because that's what they play so well.
They were playing really well, sort of fast hand play yesterday, driving onto the circle edge. We've not seen as much of that this game.
Yeah, and I think, like I say, I think a lot of that is credit to Ireland and Northern Ireland and the pressure that they're putting on them. Just a mishandling error there from the centre, Wangatambu. 2 players down.
Yep, Wang and Botti brought down Toner on the penalty. Bowman, good interplay between McCullough and Bowman there.
And you can just see there, McCullough screening off the goalkeeper. We do see Kahataku back on, just to prevent that defence. Oh, great interception. Where did she come from? And that's the problem that you might find sometimes with the stepping in and the driving quickly, if it's easily read.
Oh, there you go. There's your favourite player.
Oh, I know. She came out with such a good interception and then gave it away. But that's why I say she's got so much promise. I think we were talking before about her. In 2 years' time, when you see her at the World Cup, my gosh.
Well, she's only 21, so she's got a huge amount more netball left in her that hopefully we'll get to see more and more of. She was in Botswana, so was part of the team who contributed towards their 4th goal. Oh, great vision there by Lennon.
Yeah, I think the Northern Ireland team were unlucky then not to come out with it, because they kind of played for that as well. You could see her tracking back because they thought that long ball was going to go. But it's nice to see now that Fiji have got the confidence to send it quickly. It's when they're holding on to it that the Northern Irish are being able to get to it.
Kahotoki also is in the police back in Fiji.
Wow.
Quite a few, either, I think there's 2 in the police, number in the army.
Gosh, it's amazing, isn't it? Some of us struggle with just everyday jobs and lifestyle, and you think these girls are playing netball, doing full-time jobs. Some of them have children. I don't know how they fit it all in.
Bowman wanting to put the ball up there. Just work herself in a little bit closer. Great shooting by Lisa Bowman. And interestingly, if you look at the opportunities on goal, Northern Ireland closed the game down that last quarter completely. Only 9 attempts on goal for Fiji, and whilst the conversion was 80%, just not having that shooting opportunity really affected them in that last quarter. Whereas down the other end, very consistent Northern Ireland, 20 first quarter, 21 second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, that just says it all, doesn't it? 21 versus 9 attempts. That's a big difference. I think ideally at international level, you kind of want to be hitting the 20 attempts with a high conversion rate.
There you see Kaotoko's come back onto the court and has really kind of lifted her team around her. Long shot by McCullough.
Push the gap out to 15, 5 minutes in. Come on, Fiji.
Northern Ireland just hoping the Fijians sent the penalty.
Yeah,
where they think it needs to go.
It's so nice,
Great
ball.
You
see this fight on court, and these physical bodies, and everyone's going for everything and taking each other out for the ball, and then off the court, everyone's so lovely.
I think that's the thing that we talk about in netball a lot. Competitive on the court, but colleagues in collaboration off the court, because we recognise that if we are, as a region, to be the best we can be on behalf of member countries, everybody has to really pull together to make that happen, because as we know, netball is basically run by volunteers in many ways. There's some countries who are extremely fortunate to have some excellent paid members of staff, and of course that's really helped bring the sport forward, but not everybody has that funding to enable the investment in paid officers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even for those watching at home, you see an event like this, and it's fantastic that it's in Wales, and it's fantastic that Sport Wales have helped invest in this, but it's generally put on by the majority of people behind the scenes, of volunteers. And those that aren't volunteers, might well be in a paid role, but they are working way more than they get paid for.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a real competitive battle going on between the two centres and two captains out there.
Yeah, I'd just like to see them being a bit more clinical, because although you can see now we're just getting a little bit messy, and it is putting pressure on, but actually you come out with more ball when you keep it nice and tidy and clean. Oh, such a great jump height on that rebound.
So 36 now plays 24.
Caroline and Hanlon calling for the ball back. We just see the out of shot at the moment, the goal shooter and the goalkeeper being spoken to by the umpire. Oh no, goal shooter and goal defence, sorry.
Great transition down the court from Lennon. McCullough, nice reverse turn there on the baseline.
You see Bowman working hard now, really hard to get that front ball position, and this is what she was doing so well against Wales, was getting that front position. And then if she's out near the top of the circle, it opens up the back space for that goal attack, and if she's close to post, then they can just give her the ball. Fiji opting quite a lot to send that ball to their back defence, moving through the court. Still trying to work out whether that's tactical or forced.
So that one is forced, but unfortunately Lawler called for contact there.
Oh, great Caroline O'Hanlon. Such athleticism to run on that ball, keep it in.
There she is already.
And get it back to her teammate. Fantastic.
Yes, fantastic. McCullough looking one way, passing the other. Wonder about advantage being played there a little bit, perhaps.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? I think sometimes you've blown the whistle, and then when you've blown the whistle, you've got to do it. And the amount of decisions and things that they have to see and make in a split second.
Yeah, we're lucky to have the quality of umpires that we do have here, both in the region and joining us this weekend. As we say, netball is a team sport, and that includes everybody around it, not only the umpires but the bench officials. And today we're very pleased to have Bridgend Bolt's school with us doing the ball girls, so thank you all for your time, it's much appreciated.
And not even on a school day, good effort.
Well, as we say, what else is there to do in life but be at netball, Natalie?
Nothing. That is life. Seeing that pressure again, just keeping them away from the circle edge, forcing the lifted. Great defence there by Northern Ireland.
Yeah, Rusifagola was pointing to her wing attack as if to say, use it, get onto the edge of the circle, which is what we've been saying. Great vision in there to Bowman. Toko.
Oh, good outlet ball.
Throws the bomb down the court.
Just about got there.
Great shot. 39-25. Just under 6 minutes here to go in the third quarter.
Oh, good defence there. Oh, unlucky.
Northern Ireland will be pleased with this game, bearing in mind Fiji are ranked 8th in the world and there are a few places below them. And all these games are obviously ranking games.
Oh, good play. Oh.
Perhaps one too many ins and outs there.
She just needs to edge back a bit further. but also Fiji need to challenge it.
Quick release there. She's given it perhaps that first second.
Yeah,
Kahutoko was on it.
And ball placement as well. You know, Kahutoko was coming round on the right-hand side. If she just put it to the left a little bit more, you had Lisa Bowman screening off that space on that side. And that's when we talk about the basics, when you were saying about Tracy Neville saying yesterday that sometimes it's just the basics, and that ball placement on the feeds is really important. Making sure the ball is nice and dry. It's just getting a bit sweaty. Shows how hard they're working. Nice change of direction there by the wing attack. We were saying yesterday that sometimes the Fijians just like a bit of pre-movement, but that was really nice pre-movement.
Great competitive rebounding in there. Rista Kavala comes out with the ball. Pulls one back. 13 the gap now. And in the third quarter, with still 15 to go, 13 is only a marginal hand of turnovers and conversions, and then as soon as you kind of close that gap, you can feel the pressure growing. So again, it's still anybody's game.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, a minute it was 15 goals, and now it's 14, and now it's 15, and it keeps ebbing and flowing, and it can go any way. That you can't take your eye off the ball at the moment. Northern Ireland definitely can't sit back and relax yet, and to their credit, they're not doing. Oh, great use of backspace there by Ruth Kula. Splits, close to post, just got to sink these now.
And she manages to do that. Just under 4 to go now.
Good pre-movement there as well by Michelle Drain. Getting the contact call. Oh,
great coming round. I think she was just assessed to have contacted.
I think that was offside, just slightly, but such great reading of the game.
You look at Kahutoko, as you say, her craft as a defender, her choice of marking strategies is quite impressive.
Yeah, she does mix it up an awful lot, and I think we saw early on in the games her making some errors and coming out for a lot of ball that she wasn't getting close to, and she's a bit more judging now on what she goes on. I'd still like to see her going on a little bit more, though. I still think she can still go on stuff on the edge.
It's a great ball in to Russell-Cola, who's holding Lawler.
There, you can see her now. She's preparing, but she's not quite comfortable to go on it yet. I think at the moment Fiji just need to shut down goal attack a little bit more. They're focusing a lot of their efforts on Bowman, and that's just allowing Collick to run that edge more and create that space.
So we've got a 15 goal gap here again in Cardiff.
That was a good drive by wing attack to get to circle edge.
That's good double pressure by Lawler and Lennon in the circle, but Rusuf Kala, one of the sisters, as we know. Aliana only 19. So Bowman given the goal, 44-29. 2 minutes on the clock.
And interestingly, that extra 5 goals damage was done within the first 5 minutes. And this is what we're talking about with those runs for Fiji at the moment, which, you know, considering they've been out for a while, isn't something that is unsurprising. But that damage was done in 5 minutes. And the rest of this quarter, they've been going goal for goal. It's just unfortunate that consistency isn't over 15 minutes. That magic consistency that we were talking about.
I suppose part of that consistency comes from doing this day in and day out on a regular basis and playing the competition, because it's great training and doing all of that. When I was talking to the manager of Fiji, she was saying one of the reasons they're cramming in so much while they're here, they've played the British Army, they've got some friendly games against England, is when they get back to Fiji, they literally will have no international competition almost before they head out to the Gold Coast for the Commonwealth Games. So this is really essential. Let's hope.
I think
she looks like she's... I think we didn't see them with a lot of physio support yesterday either.
I think just the elevation there and a player going underneath her. It's never good to see someone down on court. but hopefully she will be okay. They're just looking at what's going on. And Fijian player putting the trainers back on.
Good to be ready on the bench.
I wonder whether she'll get a talking to later. Obviously time has been called, so she does need to come off, I do believe. I think that's what the umpire is signalling now. There doesn't need to be that change.
He's saying, yep, you've got to go off. Substitution being called by the umpires, rightly so.
But the good news is she's back on her feet.
Yeah.
I'm walking okay, so I have no doubt that that won't be the last that we see.
It's interesting as well, it's an international team. Just the little things. Fiji have only got one set of bibs with them. Oh, China quite keen to get the match underway.
And see how it disrupts the players and see if they can just remain focused now. There is only 40 seconds left of this quarter. Great rebound by Kahatoka. And Irish defence again, just holding them up, creating that middle space.
So 30 seconds to go. Which of the teams is going to be most aware of the clock ticking down?
I think also 30 seconds sometimes is quite a long time, and it can, especially in the less experienced players, can make it more rushed. But good on Fiji, they didn't falter under that pressure. There could still be one more goal left back in this.
So they get it in now, and Bowen goes for the shot, which she does, and she scores. Perfect timing. End of the third quarter here. Northern Ireland are in a commanding lead now, 46 goals against Fiji's 31. Last quarter, 15 minutes of netball coming up shortly, so keep tuned in. Remember, today we have a full day of netball for you here, both on social media and through BBC Sport. Wales are playing Scotland at 4 o'clock today here in Cardiff, so expect a huge home support for the Welsh side. And then our last game of today, England defeat Fiji at 6 p.m. Tomorrow on Sunday, all to play for as we move into the closing stages of the Netball Europe Open Championships. Scotland take on Northern Ireland at 10 o'clock and England v Wales at 12. So, Natalie, great game so far. Some great play by both teams, a little bit of inconsistency perhaps, but thoughts so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about the fact that the scoreline damage has only been done in short periods of time. It's not been consistent over the three quarters. So actually, the score may be a 15-goal gap at the moment, but certainly in the arena it feels a lot closer because it's going goal for goal on a number of occasions. It's good to see Fiji, when they're moving that ball, getting the ball to circle edge, and then the speed that they can have. It's great to see the reintroduction of Kahatoku and the impact that she has. And actually, it's great to see the introduction of McCulloch. I think she's come on and done really well. She's created some energy and some speed around that circle edge, which is either opening her up or opening up Lisa Bowman then, and closer to the post now. And they seem a bit more comfortable on those shots. It'll be interesting when we get the shooting stats up for quarter three, what the difference is in there for that.
So, of course, every game at this level counts, as we were saying earlier. These are all ranking games, and the ranking system is quite complex, and your points depend on how big the gap is between where you are and the team you're playing, either above or below you, the actual score on the end of the day. So literally every goal really counts at this level. And, of course, we go from here into Scotland v Northern Ireland tomorrow morning. Very closely ranked teams, very competitive in the region.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game as well. I mean, Northern Ireland have just pipped Scotland very recently on the rankings, and Scotland will be out to prove a point and try and get that back without a doubt. And, you know, Scotland were looking really strong in their game against England. There was a point in time that we were sat in the crowds going, this, you know, Scotland could do this, they could beat England, and then it just, you know, the experience of England just pushed it and came out with the win on that. But it could be absolutely anyone's game. When Northern Ireland are on point and strong, they are looking really good. So
tactically, as a coach, there's all sorts of theories around about how you end a game of this nature. You look at the score and you think, well, we could run the bench now, we could bring on all 12 players, Or could the coach be thinking about which 7 she's going to start with tomorrow morning and wanting to finish this game on that run out? If you were sitting there, what would you do?
I would probably play my bench at this point because of the fact that it is a long competition. I want to give players some rest, and sometimes learning from the bench and being able to watch the game is also quite important for me. So I'd definitely be trying to get some of my players on. Netball for any coach is a long game. It's not a one game. I know every game is important, but you've got some nice young players on there, like in the Northern Ireland side, that it would be good for them to get this experience, because all it takes on court is one injury of one key player. Say, for instance, centre Caroline O'Hanlon. In fact, they've actually changed their centre. All it would take would be for her to go
resting
down.
Caroline O'Hanlon.
Yeah, and who do you then put on? If you haven't had them play and have that experience in this scenario, then you're putting on someone fresh in a big game. So I think for me as a coach, it's massively important that you get those players out on court.
Well, here we go for the last quarter. Fiji centre pass, sticking with their captain at centre, Wangantambu.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised at that. She's had a great game, Wangantambu. She's gone on every ball. She's been working hard, punching through the court, and she doesn't look tired at all. Saying that, we have an early time called.
I think there's some water on the court or on the ball.
That's okay. I thought she was coming off. So I just put the kiss of death on things.
So umpire there, Nigel Lim from Singapore, umpired at the World Youth Netball Cup in Botswana. So we really do have an international competition this weekend in all sorts of ways.
I think the whole Fiji bench thought that was a short pass, and they made their feelings very clear. Oh, great jump. And a great shot. See, that's really good composure from Lisa Bowman, because that was a great jump, and she just shot straight over the top of it. Good job, you.
So that pressure from Northern Ireland really almost forcing 3 seconds on their Fijian centre pass. We've got Michelle McGee now, young Northern Ireland goal defence, come on. Lennon gone to the bench.
And again, McGee was another one that was at the World Youth Cup. So it's nice to see her getting out on court and getting this experience with her senior side.
We've seen her at Netball Europe competitions quite consistently now over the years, under 17, under 21, and now on the national side.
Yeah, it's great seeing players progress through and come up, and it is a different experience at senior level. Clever play there by Fiji, just a little pop pass right under the post. Good shot.
You can see the physicality of their strength as well on their holds and protecting the ball.
Yeah, they are very strong as a team, and it's we even faced it at the World Youth Cup with the under 21s. When you hit them, it's like hitting a brick wall.
So Bowman again very cool and composed.
3 over defence there by Ireland, but interestingly all of them facing the attackers.
It's a nice drive which created the space under the post for Fiji. 48 against 34. McCullough still on at goal attack.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
There was only one offer there from Northern Ireland, so I'm not surprised that got shut down.
Let's hope the player's all right before we put the barriers back up.
She's allowed back on. She's back on court.
Yes.
Oh, lovely backspace, but good that Kahataku is trying to.
And well held by Bowman. I mean, as a sport, those who are involved in the sport know netball is not just a physical game in terms of you needing aerobic and anaerobic fitness, but that repetitiveness on the strength side, psychology, that ability to keep going, the ability to understand a game. There are so many aspects of it that makes it, one of the most compelling sports if you think about it, in terms of all the things that we ask of the players and the coaches and the support staff.
Yeah, absolutely. Psychology will be a huge one for me. When there's a small difference, we were talking about the fact that ranking points are so close, all these teams are quite close in ability, and when that's the case, psychology can be such a huge factor in it.
So a great ball finds Rusakova in the circle.
a good rebound. Northern Ireland just need to make sure they're trying to keep those shooters away from the post, even when the shot's being taken, so that they can make sure that they're prepped for the rebound, because in the air, Fiji are very strong.
It's a great ball by McCullough finding Bowman. Kahatuka almost just kind of dropped off and allowed that space there into the circle.
Yeah, she has, but she is limping slightly, so I'm wondering whether there's a physical problem there. When she jumped on that shot before, she was limping a little bit.
Well, you did ask the question about why she came off after the first quarter, so maybe coaching staff in Fiji where she's just holding an injury. Great
elevation
there.
And that's the physical that we're talking about. They just elevate in the air so well, tip it down, and it's a goal.
So on that basis, 50 for Northern Ireland plays 36. There we go, another interception there. Fiji's supporters in the crowd really enjoying this match. So it's great that they've come down to Cardiff to support their team.
Yeah, Northern Ireland at the moment just working off one offer. They need to make sure that they've got at least two, preferably three. Not all at the same time, but just one and then another one if the first one's not available.
Which they were doing really well in the first half of this game. The long and the short option, 2 options.
Yeah, it just seems to have dropped off a little bit. And, you know, this is what we're talking about in terms of that recovery. It could also be a bit of tired legs out at the front now.
So another great shot there. Interesting interception by Fiji.
Good use of the word interesting there. Good shot. They are very good on the shot.
As I say, it's been great to see Fiji sticking with their 2 shooters throughout this game, giving them the match experience.
Tona. Great interception by Tona. She read that so well, tracked back, and she made it look easy, but going back and up is really difficult to do. Good control. Well done, you.
She's taking a little bit of a knock there. Yeah, very sensible, depending on where they are in the day. I think she's had a great game, Finola Tona.
Absolutely. I mean, I know we're probably not picking players of the match, but for me, if that was my squad, she would be my player of the match.
And interestingly, we're not picking players of the match, but the people who do are the coaches from the opposition. So every game that's played this weekend, the coach here for Fiji will be asked to name their player of the game from Northern Ireland and vice versa. Those results will go into the appeals panel, and we will announce tomorrow a player of the tournament. So interestingly, here we are in quarter 4, still a really big gap, 14 goals in it, just about halfway through this last quarter. Felt like a different quarter for Northern Ireland in the third. If you look at their, again, it's not all about the shooting stats, it's also about where they're being forced to shoot from. 18 attempts, but only 6 goals converted.
Yeah, they're going to be really disappointed with that. I mean, with that many attempts and 33%, they should have closed the game out hugely. I know it's a big score now, but they'll be very disappointed with those shooting stats.
And in some ways, it's almost not about these matches, it's about the ones where they're going to be closer and the impact that may have on the game. Better for Fiji, 16 attempts, only 11 converted. So you'd argue that actually, as you're saying, Finola Tona's been one of your players of the match. The whole defensive offer from both teams has been quite significant in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say it's been a game of, we talk about whether like it's an attacking game or a defensive game. I'd definitely say that this is a game of 2 defences. And the pressure that's caused and the effect that's had. At least it gives them lots of targets and things to build on.
Yeah. That's Sarah Montgomery on at wing defence for Northern Ireland. Oh, great, never quite sure what they're going to do with the ball, and that's really good kind of ball craft. 40-52, so down to 12 now. Northern Ireland really need to focus, which they didn't quite do in that one, and Fiji will just sense that they're potentially can bring this game back into single figures.
Yeah, they'll have to work hard, but there's still a lot of life left in this game yet. And, you know, the Fiji crowd is sensing it as well. All we can hear now echoing around Sports Wales is "Let's go Fiji." It really helps to lift your team when there's that much crowd behind backing you.
So there's a little bit of... Oh, great hands by Lawler there. Read that really perfectly.
Just need to tidy up in that circle. Let's get the ball, but come out with it cleanly.
So, the gap is now 11. Fiji centre pass.
Yeah, Wangatambi's signalling, give me the ball back. She wants to take the centre pass quickly. She can feel that they've got the flow at the moment of the game going. Oh,
unlucky. Yeah, a bit of a knock at the post. I think Rusafakala knew how important that one was.
Northern Ireland just needs to look after this now, just to try and break down the flow a little bit of Fiji. And it's nice to see them just being patient, you know. It's Fiji chasing the game, it's not Northern Ireland chasing the game. They have no reason to panic.
It's great shot by Bowman under considerable pressure by Kaotoki.
Yeah, and every credit to the, you know, we've had 3 new players at the back, well, 2 new at the back and 1 at the centre that have just come into the game, yet having that patience to move the ball around, yet we see it lost the other side.
So with only 5 minutes of this game to go, 12 in it. It's a bit of a lucky drop for Fiji. Maliana Rusafakala.
That's really clever play there by Laura at the back, just
forcing this run over.
Rolling the back, confusing the space, made it look like it was on and then popped back out the front. Good play.
Feel the intensity from Fiji has just increased slightly.
Yeah, we just need to now make sure that they've got the buzz now. They seem to be going at speed. They just got to keep it controlled speed. Again, that problem of saying control, calm. You don't want them to lose the speed and the intensity they're running at, but you just want them to make sure that they cut out the errors. Get hands on ball, 1-2, look at your options.
See the defenders just aware of the danger of Bowman. Oh, lucky. McCullough created that space by that great baseline drive into the circle.
Yeah, just pulled off that front defender, and that's the problem when you're marking someone at the back who is the target. If you sit one in front, one behind, and the front player gets pulled off, the back player has to make sure that they get their feet round. Ideally, it would be the back player that would come off and shut down that run. But as we know, defenders like to turn ball, and so sometimes the draw is too great.
Oh.
It's interesting that Rusafakala missed that last shot and then opted, instead of shooting that one, to pass it off.
And actually Lawler got her hand to that one really well. Ooh. She managed to control that really well. Good shot. So with 13 goals in it between these two teams, Fiji and Northern Ireland, with Northern Ireland leading, we head into the last 3 minutes of what's been a really exciting game here this morning.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're looking at that gap now, and it was 15 goals after that last quarter, so they fought it back again. And as we said initially, it's just those small periods of damage that small periods of time that's done that damage. And the rest of the time it's been pretty much a goal-for-goal netball game, which has been great to see. Just a little bit too close, Dean, there as she came through for that interception.
Great ball in there.
Can they keep this flurry at the end, Fiji? Like you said, going into the next netball games, Fiji will want to have this flurry at the end, and Northern Ireland will want to be able to stop that flurry, just so that they're strong going into the next games that they're both facing.
It's just saying the floor's got a little bit of water on it. Oh. There's one of our lovely ball girls from Bridgend Bolts. So if you're at the school, thank you very much for releasing the girls to come here. Really appreciate it. I'm sure they will have enjoyed this morning and supporting the game. So 12 in it, 2 on the clock.
Yeah.
Great interception by McCullough there.
Bit static there by Fiji, and again, like that just plays into the Northern Ireland hands because they'll just run through it. Lisa Bowman screaming yes for that ball, just creating an inside screen. I think just a bit of hesitance from the wing attack there to give it. Meant Fiji could get their hands to it, but great play by McCullough.
So the score now, 56 goals, plays 43. I think we're comfortable with Northern Ireland taking this win, but it's not been all their own way on the court.
It's not, and you know, it has been a really good contested match, and like we say, there are moments of brilliance from Fiji. There is some absolute fantastic play, but credit to Northern Ireland because it's the pressure that they have put on which has created. It's not been errors that have been created mainly by Fiji themselves, which we've seen before. It's been the pressure that Northern Ireland have been putting in that mid-court.
Great screen there to free up McCullough on the baseline. She smiles at the shot. She could always claim it was a pass.
That's like my shooting.
Here we go, last minute. Fantastic, Lawler. Still 12 in it.
Still time for a couple of goals yet.
Oh, great hands. Um, 30 seconds on the clock. 12 goals in it. Una McCullough to keep that gap in place.
Oh, cheeky little pass by Lisa Bowman. Good effort. Little bounce pass, drop it on the floor. Can we have a last goal by Fiji? Good drive by the wing attack.
9 sets are into the last 10 seconds of this game. Oh, great ball. And we can indeed.
That was a great way to finish.
And that is the end of this really exciting game here in Cardiff. Northern Ireland take what is a convincing and a very good win on 58 goals against Fiji's 46. So, an hours of really intense netball, Nats. How do you sum that up in a couple of sentences?
Exciting, inconsistent, competitive, physical. That's too many, isn't it? You asked for 2.
Sentences. I was giving you sentences rather than words.
I was on keywords. Should have listened to the question.
So I think we all agree that this has been a fantastic start to day 3 of the Netball Europe Open Championships. Natalie, it's been great having you here as always in commentary. Thank you for your support, and thank you to everybody who's made the game happen today, whether you're here in the stadium in Cardiff or part of our network of partners and volunteers throughout the region. Thank you to you all for watching at home, and to all of those who are contacting us on Twitter. Please keep that going all day. Remember, hashtag Netball Europe Open to keep the netball conversation alive. Remember, you can watch all of the games on catch-up later on, either today or in the weekend, and subscribe to us to see all the latest videos here from Netball Europe. Now we have a little bit of a break, so if you want to go and do your shopping today, this is the time to do it, but please be back. Wales v Scotland at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and then England v the Fijian Pearls back on court at 6 o'clock. Thank you all, enjoy the netball, and we will see you later today.